You need to stop trying to save your marriage. Listen, I get it. When you look at your wife, you see nothing. It's a shell of the woman that you used to know. Behind her eyes is a cold, calculated energy. She's pushing for separation. She's taking space, and all you can think about is how to save your marriage. Well, what if I told you that in this current moment, there is nothing you can do to get her back? But that doesn't mean things are hopeless. Quite the opposite. Because in fact, there is a way to win her back, but you just can't see it yet. And that is because you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. But by staying with me for the next few minutes in this video, I will give you a new way of thinking and new solutions you never thought would be possible to not only soften her coldness, but also win her back for good. My name is Josh Hudson. I'm a licensed therapist, and my team and I coach high-performing men to save their marriages all by themselves. In today's video, you will understand the subtle hidden language women speak and use to determine if they stay committed with the man they're with. Knowing this alone will get her to think about you more often, and you'll never miss those social cues that she gives you. It'll finally become clear to you as to why being nicer and trying harder has the opposite effect. It pushes her further away, and how to instead use the concept of wu wei to draw her back into you again. And then I'm also gonna show you how to pass every sequential test that she has at every stage towards reconciliation. And for those who stay to the very end, something special, a hidden, advanced technique designed to teach you completely getting rid of all neediness and anxiety to draw her back in effortlessly with confidence. So let's jump in. Let's face it, she can confuse you. I mean, women often say one thing and then act on another. She may make a promise to, let's say, go somewhere or do something, and then last second, she changes her mind with some random excuse. Now, to the oblivious man, he may chalk it up as her just being crazy, fickle. Women are fickle, but she's not crazy. There is actually a logical and very rational reason behind this type of behavior, and it's all in the hidden language she speaks. I'll paraphrase a quote in The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida about women and their true nature. He says, "A woman is not a problem to be solved. She is a mystery to be lived. She is an oracle, not an advisor." That line right there, an oracle. What does that even mean? See, women are intuitive. And the word intuit, to intuit, it means to know or understand something immediately without need for conscious reasoning. So it's direct experience and knowledge without having to think things through. It's just a feeling, it's a gut reaction. So she intuits something in you that you are blind to in yourself because logic doesn't see it, and you are so logical and rational. Let me show you actually visually to really bring this home. Now, you may have heard of communication being multi-layered, right? Or there's different percentage breakdowns of it. Or we have the rational and logical. And that accounts, some people say it's 80-20 rule. I would say it's actually less than that. Even right now, as you listen to the words that I am saying, you're picking up subtly and subconsciously my nonverbals, my certainty, my tone, my strong eye contact with this camera lens, which I'm pretending to look at you. And there's also the energy that I'm exuding. Women are more intuitive, or they understand this language of the energy in the nonverbal, and they actually focus on it more and use it as data points to inform how they make behavior or how they choose to act, especially in a relationship. Plenty of examples as to why guys are so confused there's a couple examples. The first one, you'll have a man say, well, the affair partner that she's he's more out of shape than I am. He's like less successful. Like he drinks, he does all these things, but yet she's still with him. It must be something wrong with her. Logically, that does make sense. But a lot of these men who are going through this and they actually blame the guy, or they think my wife's crazy or she's just being hormonal, they're completely missing the value that they should be giving their wife through the energy that they're conveying to her, which is the most important thing when that keeps her in a relationship. I told a story months ago when I first moved in here on one of the other videos about how this woman I met top of my roof, and I was talking to her, and she just got out of a 15-year relationship, 15 years. They had a dog together, they lived in the house, he proposed to her, they were engaged to be married, and she broke it off and ended a 15-year relationship. When I asked her why, she said she didn't know, and I said, well, what part of you told you to do that? She said, my stomach, my gut, it was an instinct. Because there was something in her that just wasn't connecting with him. And a lesser man will see all this and they'll hear all this and they'll think, well, women are just crazy. It just doesn't make sense and it's frustrating. If you have that mindset and that perspective on the feminine, you're gonna be constantly frustrated. However, if you see this as a skill to learn, just a new level to understand about women and how to master that, if you have that mindset, you'll get better with them. And not only that, but you'll enjoy the process when they speak this hidden language. Women are not crazy. The woman that actually stays with a guy that's bad on paper, she is providing him with something that I'm gonna show you at the end of this video. This one thing, the last part of the video that I'll show you, this one thing is the most valuable thing that you can give a woman. And this is why she will leave a man who has a stable job, they have kids together, all this stuff, because you are missing this one thing that you used to give her. So it doesn't matter the house you have, money, vacations, memories, family. All these are logical things on the surface, okay? I have plenty of videos talking about tonality and eye contact and how to hold yourself non-verbally as well. So we're not gonna go into depth in that in this video. Just recognize you need to have a deep tone, talk slow, talk low, don't talk too much, have strong eye contact, slow breath, slow movements. Small example, when your wife calls you, do you go, honey, yeah? And you turn to her really quick. Do you respond to her text immediately? Or are you more focused on your own energy and holding that, okay? Being unreactive. When it comes to the energetics, let me show you why actually doing the right thing on paper, up top rational and logical, actually makes it worse based on this energetic model and our hidden language. So why does effort make things worse? The other day I was on a walk around the waterfront where I live in San Diego, and actually there's a client who lives nearby, and sometimes we'll go on walks and have coffee in the morning. And he was taking a lot of the concepts that I taught him through the program. And he said, Josh, I finally get it. He goes, women are like butterflies, right? They kind of move around towards beautiful things and they have a random pattern. It's never predictable. And he says, what I was trying to do, and I think many guys in your program try to do, is they try to grab a net when she's flying away and they try to catch the butterfly. What does the butterfly do? It tries to fly away. He goes, I'm starting to build a garden. I'm building a garden where the butterfly will come to me, or butterflies, depending on how you perceive it. And so what does that actually look like? Well, first, let's look at what actually using the net actually is. Look, that which we chase runs away from us. That which we pursue leaves us from an energetic perspective, is the feeling of neediness. So when you were frantically searching for evidence why it's best to work through the marriage, when you wanted to have a heart with her to just work things through, when you're trying to get her family and friends to speak with her, to show her that she's kind of being crazy, to just give it another chance, or when you tried to give her all those gifts, take her on dates, that was all a net. She felt the energy behind it. It is not the action she was rejecting. It is the person. It was you holding that net, trying to use a technique just to hold her down so she wouldn't run away. But she felt trapped. She felt pressure. And when a woman feels that energy, she runs away like a butterfly. Now, again, I want to emphasize this point. This doesn't mean you can't take actions towards getting her back. That is the last thing I'm going to share with you in this video. I just want to let you know, when you take action from this needy place, no matter what you do on paper, that is right. No matter who you are on paper, that is right. She will reject it if your energy, your core emotions, and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about her scream low value to her. Everything is a test. You've heard of the word delusional confidence. This is kind of an esoteric concept, but if you understand this to the core, it'll make everything else easier. David Data also says in his book that every moment with your woman is a test or a celebration. Another way to look at this is that every moment with someone, especially your woman, she is either coming closer to you, you guys are deepening your love and connection which she seeks, or she is pulling away. I don't care if the test is as easy as her saying maybe to a date request and you guys are already have a really good relationship, all the way to here's the papers, I'm done with you for good. Now, the test may vary in intensity and what she is testing, but at the end of the day, the fundamental components about why she's testing and how you pass that test is the same. You use the same framework. Now, at the very end of this video, I'm gonna give you the best video I've ever created on this channel on why women test, how they test, and how to pass their test, all the different types of tests across the stages. So stay tuned for that. But I will go into it a little bit right now with you, okay? Look, at the end of the day, the feminine's greatest desire is love, is depth of connection, is intimacy, is that one-on-one feeling of just love. You understand what I'm saying? For a masculine, we love that too, but our purpose, how we serve the world, the problems we solve, to make humanity better. That is our main purpose. When she doesn't feel that sense of connection, there's a lack of safety there. With no safety comes no connection. She tests. Now, because over the years, there's been little cracks in the foundation over time, death by 1,000 cuts, and this whole thing is now falling apart, the tests are harder than they've ever been. But for you, as the strong, confident, apex man who knows that you are the best person for her, who is willing to do the work to make yourself solidified in who you are, passing the test is still the same. Because at the end of the day, all it takes to pass her tests is to have a stronger frame than her. What is a frame? I go over frame a lot on this channel, but a frame essentially is your perception of yourself, her reality in itself, and how strong your emotions are to the certainty that your frame is the frame that you are going to follow in your life is equivalent to her falling into that reality. Here's what I mean. Let me tell you through a story. Recently, my younger brother, he's been with this woman on and off for years. I still think they're gonna end up getting married. I just feel it, right? But they've had a lot of turbulent times back and forth, a lot of trauma, a lot of history. And just recently, she kind of moved away to a different city that was about an hour away, but he's still trying to see her. However, he wants to go into the military. And he's also uncertain that, he's the best person for her, or she's the best person for him. And that doubt, that uncertainty creates a weak frame within himself. And because women are intuitive, going back to the intuitive level of energy, she feels that doubt and that uncertainty, my brother. And so recently, he just had a gut feeling himself that something happened. And then she told him that it did. And I told him, Matt, I say this because I love you, because it's happened to me so many times, but the reason that happened was because of you. Your doubt, your uncertainty that she was the one, that caused her to feel uncertain. And that sense of uncertainty in herself through state transference, she feels how you feel because she's connected to you. She rebelled and she left and she did the one thing that you were most afraid of. You have to accept this as a fundamental truth. The moment you started doubting that you were the best person for her because you had hidden shame within yourself of things you've done, or that maybe maybe there was things about her that were changing that you weren't accepting, and so you pulled away, or it's even taking her for granted. All of those emotional schemas or the ways that you perceive her and yourself, she feels, and that's what she rejects. But if you can be the man to develop the strongest frame in who you are, which I'm going to show you in this last point in this video, how to do that, that will allow her to feel completely safe. And no matter what test she throws at you, you're able to pass it, and she's able to just fall back into your frame about what you want with you and her together. Now, before I share this final piece about how to really develop your frame and to give her the most important need that she has, if you want additional help with our team, you can set up a free strategy call down below. You click the link, you fill out the form. We only accept guys that are fully committed to making a change and investing in themselves to save their marriage. So if that's you, click the link down below and you'll get that free strategy call. Okay, so what is this last concept that I've been really trying to get to you this whole entire video that you stick to? So thank you for sticking to the end, because this one is gonna literally blow your mind when you finally get it. Now, I know a lot of you are very logical and rational. So when I say energy, vibe, shift, these concepts, it's not tangible. You can't, like, what do I say? What do I do? I used to be a dating coach way back in the day, back when I was in college. And oftentimes when I would speak to these guys, I would tell them, it is not the words you say, it is how you say. You know this is true, right? So if you take my favorite comedian is Louis C.K. I know 5 or 6 of his jokes off the top of my head. It's jokes that I love. But if I tell a crowd those jokes, am I gonna get the same laughter? Not even close. It is the delivery. So I'm helping you automatically fix everything about you, where you don't have to ever worry what to say to her, what actions to take, what to text her, to ever worry the exact words to ever use, because it is not what you say, it is who is saying it. Okay, so I'm fixing the who, I'm fixing the core root source here. Now, let me really encapsulate this before I go logical with you. Let me kind of tell you another story. I had a really good friend of mine who just got out of a relationship. It was a 3-year relationship with this woman that he wanted to marry. It all fell apart. Not gonna go into the reasons as to why. He's trying to heal. He was being celibate for a long time, which was new for him, which is amazing. But he said, Josh, he goes, I feel like I have every part of my life handled. He's like, I'm in great shape. I have a great group of friends now. I have my hobbies that I do. I'm crushing it in work. I have everything. It's like I have this puzzle set and I'm only missing the one piece, the woman in my life. As much as I understand that perfectly, that exact analogy, it was so beautiful he used it because it actually perfectly speaks to the problem. You see, he feels like he is incomplete without a woman in his life. Play that again. You feel incomplete without her in your life. She wants to be with a complete man, who you are despite being with her. You've grown dependent on her over the years. You need her in your life. You replace God with her. You put all your energy, your focus, your emotions, you've become reliant on her. And she cannot feel safe with a man that is depending on her, that is putting her on this pedestal. She has to look up to you. She has to see you as her God, which you could argue that's actually not the best anyways, but that's how it should be. She should admire you. And so many men, they've gotten complacent, they've fallen back, they've gotten weak. Let's be honest. And that's okay because you can get this back relatively quickly. You see, I argue that the men who, every time I get on a call with a guy that saves his marriage, I can tell immediately the one trait that he has that I know he's gonna save his marriage. I actually have an amazing call coming up with a guy next week, one of the best on this channel, so stay tuned for that, who saved his marriage. It is focusing on the process over the outcome. There has to be a healthy indifference. I talk about the attraction paradox on this channel a lot. It is about wanting your wife, but not needing her. So instead of feeling like there's a missing puzzle piece without her, no, you are this beautiful, perfect, full Sunday, and she's the cherry on top. You have this raging fire that you are warm with, that you are happy with, and she can come join with you. She can bring some firewood. She is an addition to your life. She is not your life. So many men have lost parts of themselves in the relationship, haven't they? You've given away pieces of yourself. You've made sacrifices. You've stopped doing things that lit you up. When was the last time you just felt on top of the world? That you just had the best day ever? You've been stacking a week together where it's just like, this was the best week in my life. When was the last time that happened to you? Just because you're getting older in your 40s, right? If you are in your 40s or 50s, it doesn't mean you should not be in the prime of your life right now. So the concept of Wu Wei, I mentioned this before. It comes from ancient Chinese philosophy. It means going with the flow of things. Every time that she's come to you, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say that you were supposed to go to the gym, okay? Because you're training for a marathon. And she comes home and she says, you know what? I can't have you go to the gym. You need to help me with all these chores, I'm overwhelmed. As much as logic will tell you to help her in that moment, you go to the gym. you take care of yourself. It's not selfish, okay? It is focusing on the self. There's a subtle difference there. You're making yourself complete. You're putting your air mask on first before you put hers on. This is all synonymous, okay? When you can finally get good with yourself, have your routine and who you are as a man, despite being with her, that's when energetically she feels that. And that's when she comes back, when you've let go of her, when you focus on yourself again. Because I know for a fact, the moment you met her, who you were as a man, whether you were dating multiple women or you were just focused on whatever you were in your career, finishing college, you were trying to get promoted, you were a sports team, whatever it was, you were on your purpose. I've seen it countless times that it is to a default, that like it always happens this way. So your work, obviously you can set up a call with our team and we can help you with this, give you a whole community to autocorrect this, to speed things up if you would like. But if you want some general advice, it is looking at your goals in life, setting those goals, long-term goals, and then breaking them down to weekly, daily habits you do to focus on yourself other than getting her back. And that is the best process in doing so. Here's the video on the massive video on tests. This is like the massive video on the comprehensive guide test. This was the one passing the test through stages. Both amazing videos. Again, if you need help, set up a call with our team down below. I'll see you in the next video.